Alrighty, so let's take a look at what we're going to do for week 6 because in week 6, there's a couple things we're going to do that Kevin doesn't cover in his code along, and I'm going to make a shift in the way we're doing the projects to where I've been doing a bit of what I would say, here's the specific things you need to do as far as the project goes. So we're starting attendance talking about the project, which is fairly common in this class, but I will just tell you when you look at the project requirements, and actually you're going to have a video that is you're going to watch as part of attendance, you're going to see that those instructions are going to look a little different because I do them at a little higher level now, to where I don't give you go here and do this. I give you here's what you want to accomplish. So in the sense that we're updating or upgrading the way the instructions are to require you to think a little more like a developer, I want to give you a chance to review both the video, and actually I think I will also provide the link to the project here, so that you have a chance to look at that, because the more questions you have here, the better. Okay, so just to give you what you need to do. So this week we're going to do a semantic review. Okay, and that's what this video is going to cover, is what that means. And I will go through and show you my site that I did based on the new requirements that we have for the project. But I also talked about these semantic elements because we've seen Kevin implement section, we've done main, we've done nav, and these are all semantic elements that give meaning to our HTML versus a div, but we've also been implementing some divs into our project. So at this point, now we're going to say, listen, we're going to get rid of divs, we're going to move forward. So then I've given you that link that I mentioned in the video. So what is the requirement? So here's what you want to do, and I will, by the time you get here, also see a link to the requirements for project 6. But you're going to watch the video, review the requirements, and then ask a specific question, right? By the way, you can ask more than one, but ask a specific question maybe about the semantic, about the CSS engineering that we're doing with the reset, okay? And by the way, in this case, in the case you're going to learn this in the code along, is the idea of the grouping together items, but we don't have that yet. But any other content that I go through, because remember, you're getting a preview for some things you haven't seen yet, right? So the idea of the reset, the idea of using classes, the idea of grouping things together. As a matter of fact, that's what Kevin does in his project, is he shows how when you use a div, how you can group things together and then style it with a particular class or a utility class. So these are just good upgrades you're going to make this week. Okay. So in this sense, we're kind of doing a little bit of a preview, pre-learning of what you're going to get. Okay, so you're going to ask a question, make it substantive, give an example, be specific. Okay, and then your reply is attempt to answer somebody's question. If you don't have it, say, hey, here's what I did to try to go find that answer. Okay, so here's the concepts you're going to look for: that global reset, where we talk about moving box, doing a CSS reset, because we want to change the way the calculation for the box model is done, so it is better and it doesn't break our pages and it's just better. We're going to upgrade our images to have a figure and a fig caption. You'll hear about that in the video. We still use alts, right? But then related to these semantic elements, we talk about and just give you a brief idea of replacing the divs with something that has meaning. Okay, so you can see here kind of some ways to think about it. And it's not that when I grade your work, I would say, oh, hey, you used an aside when you should have used an article. It's really for you at this point, just getting used to getting rid of divs if you've used them. And I think most people have used them. I know I did. And I refactored my site to get rid of them. And as a matter of fact, the one also had to do was the palette. The palette that we did before used divs. So you'll also want to refactor or change, upgrade that palette file as well. Now that brings up the navigation. Again, you're getting a little preview of the preview, right? So we're gonna expand, add a new page. Actually, it's 4 pages, not 5. Okay, you'll see me go over what that navigation needs to look like, because some of you still don't have that quite nailed down. So you'll need to make sure you do that. right? Making sure that palette is linked appropriately and that every page needs a unique title, right, in the head section to reflect its content. And then making sure you're validating, right? Making sure that, because remember, and we saw this in week 3, if we use a div, we didn't have to have a heading, but when we're getting rid of divs, we will need to include them. Okay, so that'll be a part of it. And then, you can validate, which I generally do as I go, but there'll be a last validate. And if you've already done it, then I give you a way. Actually, it'll be a different date, but it's just the example. Okay, so what you want to do now that you know what we're looking for, watch this, look at the requirements. Okay, ask some questions about something that, it's like when I heard this, here's what I wanted to know, right? Because you are going into a week where you're getting some new skills with the code along, but we're also taking what we've been doing and upgrading our projects to be more in line with higher professional, more professionally aligned websites. All right, have a great week. Check this out. Go watch this. Come up with your question. Reply to somebody else with some help. All right, talk to you later.